Hey guys, came for 15 back at it with another video for you guys. Back with another episode review of from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. I don't know why I keep butchering that. Sorry if I sound a little bit more composed. It is late for me, and most of my people are asleep, and I want to be respectful of them. So that's why I'm talking a monotone voice. But this episode was pretty good. Definitely did enjoy this episode. It was really good from the standpoint. We just kind of have, more Lucia development, which I do like. And then also too, I'm guessing we're kind of getting the shutting down of the potential romance between Beryl and his students because at the end of the episode, he kind of shuts that down. But again, we have this nice moment, or this nice episode where Allucia just, wants to train with Beryl and kind of wants to put herself to the challenge to see how much stronger she's gotten since obviously she trained with him, right? So one of the first things is he actually gets recommended to go to this very fancy party, right? And it's a very high, honor and recognition because of it. And because of it, he has to wear very nice clothing. Now he can't walk in there with the same ragged clothing. Now at first he's like, why can't I just do this? But the illusion and the other knights are like, listen, this is a high honor. Like you need to come prepared. Like I think it's best. So Allucia's like, hey, master, you know, let me take you out, so we can go find some clothing. Obviously she's in a weird way kind of viewing this out like kind of a date. And it's funny how the other characters, the one guy and the other girl, they obviously view that as well. It's like, oh, this maybe Alicia's being more transparent with her feelings, right? So that's the thing. Now, on the next day, Allucia and Beryl, or actually, no, I found it funny. So at the dinner table, Beryl and MeWe, they're talking, and Beryl's making a mention like, "Hey, I'm just wanting to let you know, I'm actually gonna go out and find some nice clothing with the girl, one of my former students, Allucia, the girl, and she's coming out. We're just going together to go get some shopping done and everything for clothes. It's like, would you care to come?" And MeWe already knowing, she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." This episode alone shows me 100% confirms like Miwi is Beryl's like adoptive daughter. Like she does not, she knows like, oh, he's going out with a girl. Yeah, I'm not going to parade on that, right? So I thought that was funny how she was like, no, I'm not going. You're good. You go handle what you need to go handle. I'm busy. So Beryl's like, well, okay, I guess I'll go, right? So, he ends up going, and him and Allucia, go. She's obviously wearing nice outfit and everything. She looks cute and everything. Again, personally, I would go for Allucia. I personally like Allucia really much because I think she's hot. She's kind of thick. Yeah, you get my point. Personally, that's just me. But then again, Serena is a snack herself, so that's the thing. But anyways, they go to like this clothing store and they look at certain outfits. Beryl's kind of not feeling it, right? And it's funny, you have like this one outfit they choose where it legitimately looks like he's wearing a court jester outfit. Absolutely hilarious, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm not feeling that. But he chooses this one item and everything that he feels like is best him. But he actually wants to give Allucia a shot to choose something for him. Because obviously she's doing this out of the kind of her heart. But eventually we find out he ends up choosing the item he initially wanted, and he does end up apologizing to Allucia because of it. He's like, "Look, I'm so sorry. I know you worked all your time and everything to choose an outfit for me, and I never even paid attention or listened to your thoughts." And she's like, "No, it's all right, master. It's okay. As long as you like what you need to like, that's fine." So they go their separate ways, but you also had it to where the one guy and the other night girl, they were spying on them the entire time. Now the night girl does make the mention throughout this day, she is happy to see that Beryl and Lucia doing good, but at the same time she's like, I don't really like them being close together. So I don't know if I'm guessing she was getting a little bit jealous because it's like, nah, it should be me, but yada yada yada. But anyways, the one dude night. He basically goes up to Allucia and he's like, "Hey, Allucia, like, please tell me, like, do you have like actual feelings for Master Beryl?" And we find out later, like, she kind of played it off like it was nothing special, right? But it's clear, like, he knows, like, no, you must like him romantically like that and everything. So essentially, what happens is the next day, um, she actually is wanting to train in the dojo, and they're like, that's just, it's a rare setting. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna challenge Master Beryl to a match. And if I challenge him to a match, I will tell him my true feelings. And I'm like, or if I win the match, I'll tell him my true feelings. And I'm like, now I'm watching this episode, I'm like, oh wow, what? And then like, you know what? I'm actually kind of pulling for Alicia to win this match. Funny enough, Beryl shows up right then and there, and she's like, Master, I would like to have a sparring match with you, and everything, right? So, you know, she doesn't say like what's in it for her. She just says, I just want to test how it's much stronger. And you have the match between Beryl and Allucia. And man, Allucia fights pretty aggressively. Like there was this one look like you see in the thumbnail, like I'm just like, oh my goodness, she looks like a woman possessed. She like as if like she's trying to desperately win. And you can tell like she was putting her all into this match of trying to beat Beryl. Like she was locked in. Like when I mean she was locked in, she was locked in. She wanted to beat Beryl so she could not only prove to herself how much stronger she's gotten, but also get probably this monkey that's been off her back, right? Um, but the animation was pretty dang good. I did enjoy it. Essentially, how Beryl wins is, he was on the defensive, and from majority of the fight, and you can tell that Allucia definitely has gotten stronger, and he just had to find an opening. And basically, he just grabs like a piece of her clothing and just slams her down, right? And Beryl wins right then and there. Obviously smart thing. And he gives Allucia the nice lesson, like, hey, you're definitely a lot stronger than you once were, but you still left yourself wide open. You always gotta, you gotta understand, when you're getting in these fights, it's not always gonna be fair. People will use dirty tactics to try to get ahead and try to win. So, you got to make sure you're aware of your surroundings and you're aware of the fact like somebody could do something like that, right? And regardless, it is a good lesson for Lucia to learn. Like, people who are desperate to try to win, escape from you or even trying to maybe kill you, like they're going to look at anything they can find as an opening to be like, okay, what is a sign of weakness? Okay, you know what? Maybe her clothing is weakness right then and there. So there's that. But after that, that kind of is it. You have the one swordsman go up to Allucia talking about like, so like, did you like you didn't tell him your feelings? Like, it's better of time. It's like what's no better of a time to tell him how you feel? And she's like, listen, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm all right with this, it's fine. I have the utmost respect for Master Beryl, and that's the thing. And it kind of came out across to me as the fact like she knows like even if she were to say her feelings and Beryl turned her down, she would still be okay with that. So that's nice. And it's funny enough because at the end of the episode, Beryl talks about what's been going on and everything, and Miwi's like, well, it sounds kind of like this girl like has a crush on you, like she likes you. And Beryl's like, no, 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 no. Sorry, Miwi. Like, I'm not about that, right? And he basically kind of shuts down the fact. He's like, look, I respect the fact that, hey, if she has those feelings, she really has those feelings. But at the end of the day, I'm her master and she's my student. So I have no aspirations of taking our relationship that far. And Beryl kind of lays the hammer down, and I guess in a weird way, we kind of get a confirmation of like, again, now, regardless, I don't know how the source material goes, if he does actually end up with somebody, And who knows, maybe at the end of the day, he does maybe end up with either Allucia or Serena. I don't know. But right then and there, right, he basically shuts the idea down of like, no, I'm not going to have a romantic relationship with my students. And even though in my hardest of hearts, I hate that, I'm like, no, I'm like, it makes sense if you either were to hook up with Allucia. Maybe not Serena the most part because I also did see Serena like a daughter figure, but okay, I guess you want to say the case, but more the Allucia, and everything, right? But when you do think about it, it's like, he did know these girls since they were like basically little girls, right? And he did train them. Now there has been, animes out there that have done the student master relationship type of thing to where, student falls for the master and eventually by the end, they do get together. There's a few animes out there like that. I can't think of any at the top of my head, but you get my point, right? But here it's kind of actually different. Beryl's like, no, I'm just gonna keep our relationship platonic, and I'm just gonna keep it as the fact, like, she's my student. Yes, it's nice to maybe hear that she may feel a certain way about me, but I taught her, I trained her, and I don't want to go farther than what our relationship already is. And to be honest, it's a respect to the author who wrote this story or wrote the series, the fact like they're not going to go the typical trope of like, this guy has basically a harem of girls, that obviously clearly want him that bad, right? And, for the author to say like, yeah, I could probably hook him up with Allucia or Serena because realistically, backstory wise, in some ways, it makes sense why, they could potentially get together. But in a weird way, it's kind of like a one-sided love for Allucia and Serena. It makes sense why Serena and Allucia have feelings towards Beryl because everything Beryl's done for them, and they look up to him and they have an admiration for him. But Beryl, he's always viewed them and any other of these girls, as his students. He doesn't view himself in a romantic relationship with them because he's only viewed them as his students, individuals that he has taught his lessons and everything. So yeah, and maybe this fuels, I know I've been watching another reviewer. My best guess is, he always makes a mention like he's gonna hook up with quote unquote a MILF, aka an older woman, around his age, right? I guess one of the leading candidates is that one teacher in the Magic Academy we saw. So there's that. But it is kind of nice to see that we may not go this route. I will say it is definitely a different approach, and I do like the fact like you have a main character who at the end of the day is kind of fucking oblivious to, yes, these girls' feelings about him. He still at the end of the day wasn't oblivious, like, no, look, if Allucia likes me and she were ever to confess to me, like, I'm not going to accept those feelings because at the end of the day, I'm her master, she's my student. It's not right, and to him that may not ethically be right. It's kind of like a teacher, right? A teacher and a student in an actual, like, I would say like a university or something, right? Maybe you have a freshman or a sophomore girl or guy that's into their professor, right? And albeit, that person confesses their feelings to said professor, the professor just is like, look, I respect your feelings, but listen, I'm a lot older than you are. Obviously, you're a lot younger than me. And I think it's best that you probably go after somebody more your age than, waste your time on me and stuff like that. So yeah, but solid episode of From Old Country Bumpkin. Don't know where next week's gonna go. Maybe we're gonna focus on this very fancy party next and something's gonna break out because of it. We'll see. But again, another enjoyable episode. Definitely can't wait to see what we got next up coming up and stuff like that. So yeah, but other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Catch you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night or watching this video. So then, guys, peace.